Hello out there in YouTube land. Here I am gonna have to repair this tarp after the other day and having the 50 something mile an hour to 60 mile an hour wind gusts. And it kind of played hell with this thing. Tore out a grommet and everything else, even after I reinforced some of them that I normally use, but the ones when I put it down and kind of tie it off for wind gusts and storms, it ripped them out, or ripped one of them out at least. So stick around and I'll show you how I repaired this thing and take care of it until it completely dies from UV light. So we'll get right to it here in just a minute. This is Surviving 2 coming to you with another video. Okay, a lot of y'all have seen my chaos video where at the end I kind of showed you the back of the place, and I've got this tarp that I normally set up during summertime and keep it, you know, stretched out and poles and everything, and kind of gain some extra space and shade and all that during the summer. But when the storms come, I put it down at a 45-degree angle and put bungee cords on it and ropes and everything else. And well, when those winds came, I had it down, but that didn't matter. It decided to try and turn it into a sail. Plus, the night before we had a nice rain and it turned the ground soft, so it kept jerking stakes out of the ground, and oh, it was a mess. So finally what I had to do is, as you see here behind me, I took and put it down. It's attached up here at the top, and I ended up putting ropes on it here to just kind of hold it in place, kept it from turning into a sail and everything. And these are actually the ropes that I use to stretch it out and down to the ground with the stakes and all that. So let me get the camera spun around here and I'll show you what I do where I attach the poles. And this is just a poly tarp. So rather than spending a hell of a lot of money and having other tarps go bad, I do use these cheap ones, but I reinforce it in certain places so that it lasts a hell of a lot longer. But eventually this thing goes, the UV attacks this portion of it and it flakes off. So I just spend 20 something bucks and eventually buy a new one and replace it. No big deal. But I make it last twice as long as what they normally will live through by reinforcing it in set places. And I'll show you some of the things that I do to reinforce it. So let me get the camera spun around and I'll show you what I do. Okay, here's what I do to reinforce the grommets on the tarp itself. This is Lexan. I actually sandwich the grommet itself with 2 pieces of Lexan, and I use stainless steel nuts and bolts in there, and that actually works really well. I haven't had an issue with it pulling the poly tarp apart or pulling the grommet out since I've put that in there. And before, I've had it like it's done right here. And this is what happened Thursday. It just jerked that grommet smooth out of there, and that's what I've got to repair today here in just a minute. Now the poles that I use to hold this tarp up with are these poles right here. You can see they've just got a pin sticking out of the end. I've been using these poles for, oh God, years, friggin' years. Here's one of them sticking out from underneath it right here, and they get rusted, but they hold together real well. These have been in there for quite a while. Now these were my first iteration of, actually these are the first iteration, let me get them laid out here, that I tried to make. Now these are dividers out of like little trays, individual trays. You snap the dividers in there, make them as big or small as you want. And I tried, the tarp was up at the time, and I was trying to stitch it back together, hold it back together, and make these, and I got the holes way out of whack. And I was trying to shove the grommets around and do it, and I just got them way off. Finally, I got a new tarp and got it down and got it where I was able to take a new grommet hole and measure and mark, and got everything set right like this. You can see the new Lexan. I got it correctly set and got it marked, and the screw holes and everything, and used one as a template, and then I was able to perfectly set one in place, and then I was able to keep that template going and make them all perfectly and correct. Now something else I do is for the corners, let me get it back here in the shade, is I take the corners and I reinforce them with 2 screws, nuts and washers like that, and that keeps, let me get this flipped over, that keeps them from pulling the corners out. I haven't lost a corner since I've done that. So what I'm going to be doing here right now is taking, these 2 pieces right here, and I'm going to sandwich with these screws and washers and all right here where that one grommet got pulled out, and I'm going to repair that one place where that thing pulled out, because that's where I stick a bungee cord between that hole and this hole. I have a set of bungee cords that I hook in there when storms come up, when I drop this tarp down, and string them out. And that's what I'm going to have y'all watch me repair and see how I do it real quick. Won't take me a few minutes, and see how I do that. So let me get things set up and we'll get started on this and be done in a minute. Okay, you can see what I got going on here. It's all bunched up and pulled, and I'm going to try and keep it steady, and hopefully you can see what's going on. I've got the 2 bits and pieces set here. I got a clamp. Make sure my clamp, yep, that should be set. So hopefully I can keep this thing set right, and right where you can see. The hardest thing is going to be keeping this all steady at one time and get that clamp set. Let me check one thing real quick, make sure I've got my template, my little plates lined up correctly. No, I didn't. Ah, there we go. Okay. Now they're right. I just line them up right here. That should be good. Now see, I should have brought my battery screwdriver. All right, I'm gonna pause y'all, go get it, and bring you back when I come back. Oh, so much better. Ah. Trying to do that without flipping it up, because I hope you're still seeing this. Okay. All right, there's one. Oh, I got somebody watching me off to the side, seeing if I do it right. Must be a supervisor, because they're not coming over to help. It's one of my cats, one of my yard cats. Come on, get started. Now let's see, I won't be able to do it that way. I need to have it. That way. Now I'm taking probably shove this tarp in a little bit here at the front if I can. This bowl is magnetized. Nope, my supervisor left. I guess I'm doing okay then. Trying to see if I can't bring that tarp in a little here. Yeah, when you sandwich that tarp like this, man, it reinforces it real well. Those other reinforced points that I showed you earlier in this video, they hold real good. I haven't had any issues with them since I've done that, and I have transferred them from another tarp. This is the second tarp that they've been on, and that other one, all the poly coating on the tarp had dried out and flaked off, and like I said, this is the second tarp they've been on. So, and that tarp outlived, the grommets outlived the coating on the tarp. So yeah, they're well worth doing it. Here we go. Done. Fixed. So now, that point should outlive this tarp. And the next time I go to swap out this tarp, I probably won't do that because that was a pretty rare deal. I'll still keep this in case I ever need to repair another tarp. I'll just do the same thing to repair the other tarp. I'll just keep these pieces, and if I ever need to repair one like I did this one, I'll just repair it again. So now that the wind's calm, I can go ahead and unrope the tarp and stick it back up, stake it back down, and do what I need to do to it and have it back up until winter comes due, which won't be very much longer because it's already going to be in the 40s this next weekend. So let me get up from here and get things cleaned up, and I'll talk to you here at the end. Well, there you go. That's it. That's how I repair tarps and kind of take care of them, keep them getting the grommets ripped out of them for the most part until I get 60-mile-an-hour winds, which come ripping through here. Which that hadn't happened. I think that's the first time I've ever seen that happen around here. But most of the time it's just during thunderstorms, and most of the time that's generally you know, only for a few hours or a few minutes or something like that, and it's not constantly like all day long. Which Thursday, that's what it was, all day long. So it's pretty easy. If y'all wondering why the camera is shaking a little bit. I'm on a stick. I'm on a stick that I can hold it and kind of walk around with it a little bit here. But yeah, the sun there's not a stinking cloud in the sky, and it's pretty sunny. But at least there's no wind. I mean, there is no wind right now around here, which thank God. I don't need any wind right now. So yeah, that's why I'm out here working on this right now, fixing to put the tarp back up and get everything going again. Whew. And then I can finally start working on my axe cover. Now that I don't know if y'all saw the post or not I put up. I don't know if anybody sees those stinking posts I put up. I know one LG saw them. He saw a post, the one I was talking about, this tarp and everything. He saw it. You know, we don't get view counts on that. We don't know how. I don't know how many people see it or anything else. That's the craziest thing in the world. YouTube gives you view counts on everything you do, but posts. You don't see view counts on posts. Now, what's up with that, YouTube? That's crazy. So anyway. All right, enough of that. That's a whole different story. So, all right, I'll catch y'all on the next one. Y'all take care out there. Later. All right, how do I turn this damn thing off like this? I need my cord.
I want to thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more in the future that I put out, just subscribe. Until then, later.